Welcome to AikiTalks. Real stories, real practice, real Aiki. Today's topic of reflection is what makes a technique Aikido. This is something I have been thinking on for a while. We all know the standard techniques and we all understand variation. What I am most interested in is the difference between true Aikido technique, made in the moment, and kata. Now we can say that both of these things is Aikido, and I would say we are correct in that statement. So let's break it down and discuss these two sides of the coin separately. Firstly, let us explore our thoughts on kata. Now, in my day job, I am a teacher, so I understand a curriculum or a syllabus. I understand that it is needed for a number of reasons. Not only does it allow for an easier way to assess a large group of people in their progress and can link to a reward system, something that the Western world is more accustomed to. The concept of kata practice not only allows for a curriculum to ensure a certain standard is maintained, but it also allows for different schools of Aikido to interpret these techniques in different ways. Now, if you have listened to our previous episode on exposure, you will be familiar with my thoughts on different schools of Aikido and how each school interprets Aikido in their own way. This can be seen as their style. As I said, we all know what a shianagi looks like in its more basic movement and form, and therefore every interpretation has some resemblance of this, no matter how you get to it. So this leads me to believe that Aikido is a set number of agreed upon techniques that all schools of thought are familiar with. However, this explanation didn't sit well with me when I thought deeply about it. This is the explanation that I understand to be true when I was a Q grade and young. I knew that Judo, Karate, and Aikido are all defined by the techniques that we do. And this may be correct to some extent. However, the older I got and the higher grade I became, I started looking at other martial arts differently. This led me to think about the ties between Aiki Jiu-Jitsu and Aikido. Now, I saw a fantastic YouTube documentary on Aiki Jiu-Jitsu a few months back, and I was interested in the common techniques being shown. I then saw a number of other martial art videos, all showing similar techniques to Aikido. So this led me to believe that maybe the technique isn't what makes Aikido, but the way we make technique is what makes Aikido. Now, I could be wrong, and I am just thinking out loud here, but surely following Osensei's thoughts that he doesn't intend on thinking of a technique or form, he just controls Yuki how his spirit wills it, that any throw, application, or redirection of energy or balance taking that he performs is indeed Aikido. He's also famously quoted as, and don't get me wrong, I am paraphrasing here, that a technique is the result of the circumstances of that particular time, and you will never do the same technique twice because you cannot replicate the circumstances. I like to think, I like this thought because it contradicts kata in a way. We practice the perfect technique in kata. We try and control the variables to ensure the technique is the same every single time. Now, for newer students, this might be why a technique won't work on one Yuki when it will with your usual Yuki in your own club. This is why getting out there is a benefit to you. Train with as many people and let your technique adapt as it happens. So we have established that kata may become a hindrance if not pressure tested with a wide range of variables, and that's just good scientific principles. So what about the other aspect of our sensei's quote? Can we call anything we do Aikido? We are, after all, Aikidoka, and anything we do must be Aikido. And I would say that this is true for O-sensei, who was the living embodiment of Aikido. However, for us, I would say that what we do on the mat can only be called Aikido when it uses the principles of Aikido that we spend years to develop. So I think back to a fantastic example of Aikido walking demonstrated humorously by the late and great Danny DaCosta. In a parody video he released He demonstrated walking with exaggerated Aiki principles, his bouncing strides in his garden, and then again in the local supermarket whilst carrying 2 baskets. And he made a joke about how he practices Aikido wherever he goes. But although this is done in a humorous way, he also was onto something. Aikido is not only how you throw by whatever technique you use, it is also in the way you move, compose yourself, and react to a situation. Extending ki, walking with one point, being mindful of your surroundings, having a calm and focused mind, void of worry. That is Aikido. They are principles that we practice and understand to be fundamental. So why is that not Aikido? Why is whatever we do with those principles in mind, how can anyone say that that is not Aikido? So this led me to think, can I make my own Aikido technique? Can I apply Aikido principles and certainly Shingi Tai Aikido Society foundational principles of relax completely and body shifting to any movement, throw, lock, pin, application to create a new Aikido technique? Now, I wouldn't know what to call it, but can I apply what I have been studying for years to any form of technique and argue that it is Aikido and throw someone with those principles in mind, and it will be what I want it to be. It will be Aikido. So this all leads me to believe that if I apply correct Aiki principles to my training, then anything I do can be called Aikido technique. And that is something I am truly happy about because we have all been there, up in front of everyone on a lesson or a course, and suddenly our brain goes blank. We have forgotten how to even pronounce an Aikido technique, let alone remember what it looks like. So in that moment, we move, we rely on our principles, and we do something. And hopefully it will resemble something that is Aikido-esque. So what do you think? Do you agree that Aikido is defined by a series of techniques and forms of attack, or do you believe that whatever you do, as long as it is with the correct Aiki principle, is a display of Aikido? Thank you for listening to another AikiTalks episode. To help further this project, please do like the video, comment your thoughts, and share this content with anyone who's interested. And of course, if you haven't already, please subscribe. Thank you for joining me for AikiTalks. Until next time, stay centered, keep training, and take care.